के अस्सलाम वालेकुम। जेन ऑस्टन नॉवल हिस्ट्री में वो स्टार्ट हुई हैं। इनके चौथा नावल जो है वो हम कर रहे हैं परसुएशन। इसकी समरी स्टार्ट की थी जो कि पार्ट 1 में हाफ़ की है। आज पार्ट 2 में सेकंड हाफ़ जो है वो करेंगे और कंप्लीट हो जाएगी है। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। Captain Wentworth proposes that they all take a trip to Lyme to go visit his friends, the Harvilles. While they are there, a good-looking gentleman takes notice of Annie. They later discover that this man is Mr. Elliot, Annie's cousin, and Mr. Walters here to Killinch. The group decided to go for a morning walk on the beach. Louisa Musgrove has a bad fall and is knocked unconscious. Annie keeps a level head and does all she can to care for Louisa. The doctor determines that Louisa will recover, but she will have to remain in Lyme for several months. Captain Wentworth blames himself for Louisa's fall and tries to help the Musgrove family. Annie returns to Upper Cross to help Mr. and Mrs. Musgrove care for their younger children. After a few weeks, she leaves to stay with Lady Russell. After Christmas, Lady Russell and Annie decide that they must rejoin the rest of the Elliot family in Bath, much to Annie's dismay. Sir Walter and Elizabeth care little about her, but they are glad to have her come to Bath. In Bath, she is formally introduced to her cousin, Mr. Elliot, who has made peace with his once estranged uncle, Sir Walter. Though she questions Mr. Elliot's motive for his sudden apology, she accepts him as a pleasing gentleman. Mr. Elliot is extraordinarily appreciative of Annie, and it is soon apparent that he seeks to make her his wife. While in Bath, Annie becomes reacquainted with an old school friend, Mrs. Smith, who has recently been widowed and fallen on hard times. From Mrs. Smith, Annie learns about Mr. Elliot's hidden past. She finds out that he has mistreated Mrs. Smith and that he plans to marry Annie to ensure that he becomes the sole heir of the Clinch baronetcy. Mr. Elliot fears that Sir Walter will marry Mrs. Clay, have a son, and thereby reprieve him of his title. He plots to ensure that he will remain Sir Walter's heir. Annie is appalled to hear this news. The Crofts arrive in Bath with news of two engagements. Henrietta will marry her cousin Charles Hayter, and Louisa will marry Captain Benwick, a man she met at Lyme while she was convalescing. मतलब के get better, while she was getting better. Annie is overjoyed that Captain Wentworth is not promised to Louisa and is free once again. Captain Wentworth soon arrives in Bath. He is now a much richer man than he was 8 years ago, and Sir Walter reluctantly admits him into their social circle. Wentworth grows jealous because he believes Annie is attached to her cousin, Mr. Elliot. Yet he writes Annie a love letter in which Spores describes his true, constant, and undying love for her. Annie is thrilled and they become engaged. Mr. Elliot is shocked that his plan to marry Annie has been foiled. He and Mr. Clay leave Bath. It is rumored that they are together. There is no longer any danger that Sir Walter will marry beneath his station. Sir Walter and Lady Russell give their approval for the marriage between Annie and Captain Wentworth. ओके आज इसकी समरी कंप्लीट हो गई है। कल एक नया जो है वो स्टार्ट करेंगे जेन ऑस्टन का नावल। अल्लाह हाफिज़।